Yo, what is going on YouTube? This is Marcel and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we are gonna cover off how to brake properly to go fast on the F1 game and what you're doing wrong and probably not doing correctly on the F1 2021 game. And this technique is called Trailbraking. You probably already read it from the thumbnail or the title. It is fairly simple and I don't want to hold you up for too much. It is kind of a process where you, of course, because we don't have ABS on F1 cars, if you run without assists, it's also covered in the how to drive without ABS video, but this is a separate one, so people that just want to search for this, they will find this video and it will be super helpful. First of all, with Trailbraking, what you're doing. Let's talk about it. We are gonna drive today on Bahrain, turn 1. Alright, it's a hairpin, it's a heavy braking zone. What you can do is, you can fully brake straight, just in a straight line, then ease off the brakes and roll into the corner. Can you do this? Yes. Is it the most efficient? No. And that's when trailbraking comes into play, because with trailbraking you are actually braking into the corner, so you're easing off the brakes whilst turning, and it's a symmetric process where you turn more and more and you lift off the brakes more and more until the corner apex usually. That's kind of the smoothest bit of weight transfer. This is another thing that trailbraking does. It helps you like make this whole weight transfer process from acceleration to braking and back to accelerating, or bringing the car into a neutral kind of state so it's not shifting around. Makes it much smoother because you're controlling the brakes much smoother with trailbraking, and everything is just a bit more, well, let's say easier for the car. So if we are on track and trailbraking, what you're not doing, this is what it looks like when you're not trailbraking. Have a look. And you're locking out the tires. So you're staying on the brakes, but what are we gonna do now? You will see, we're gonna step heavy into the brakes. Small lockups sometimes happen, that's fine, especially in heavy braking zones on this game. But we are, as soon as we hit the brakes and we turn, we ease off the brakes. Look, heavy braking. And we ease off. That was actually really good. That was a really good example. You could hear no lockup. We are just easing off the brakes until the corner apex. Same thing here again. And as soon as we hit that, we're gonna ease off the brakes totally and continue with the acceleration process. But that's not trailbraking. We are just talking about the braking right now. More lockup here. But Bahrain is a great track because you have a lot of tricky corners where you also turn naturally like this here. And you want to ease off the brakes smoothly but gentle, and that will maximize your lap time big time. It will also save tires because with lockups you get more tire temps. That slows down your lap time and adds also tire wear. Oops, a little moment. But yeah, trailbraking is the #1 braking technique that you have to master to drive Formula 1 cars, or in general in racing games, but also in the F1 game, really fast and beat the competition. So you need to master this. So again, heavy braking. Look at the brake trace at the bottom. It's the red bar. As soon as we hit the braking zone, we will do it again now. Turn 1. Heavy braking into turn 1 and then easing off the brakes until the apex whilst turning. A little track limit. But you could see it again, same thing in turn 3. Oh no, that's turn 4, sorry. Like you can see trailbraking usually more often in heavy braking zones like this. Well, there I messed it up and locked the rears. But like heavy braking zones, it's like kind of braking zones where you never go 100%, it's harder to do. But you still usually apply it in some way. Like for example, Maggots in Silverstone, or like the Suzuka S's, you don't trail brake too much because you're rarely on the brakes anyways. But in Bahrain, nearly every single corner is a good corner to master this technique, and I really recommend you doing this because you've seen at the beginning. Let's do it once more. If I will show you in turn 1 now again what's wrong if you're doing it incorrectly. And then you will already have the answer. It's actually a really simple technique, but super hard to master. So you need to give this quite some time. It might take you weeks, months, Some of you that are really talented, maybe trail braking, a couple of days, who knows, but you really have to focus on this easing off. Look, this is what happens when I'm not trail braking, when I'm staying on the brakes, the fronts lock up while it's turning. And also, if I'm not smooth on the brakes, look, if I just release the brake quickly, it's just, this whole car movement just becomes a bit rough. Like, weight transfer is not the biggest part in the F1 games, like you cannot feel it that much, but it is still there. So when you brake, the whole weight moves forwards. So it also increases turn, and if you trail brake into a corner and you keep that brake a little bit always on, you have a bit more weight on the front, so the front turns also in a bit more, which helps you gain lap time, rotate the car, and also keep it stable. When you ease off, it's kind of in a neutral state, then acceleration will be much easier, so you don't get any kind of weird motions from the car, movements, or it's just jumping around. So it's a whole process that gains you lap time in multiple ways, and you really need to focus on it. At the beginning, if you've never done it before, it will be tricky, but trust me, it is definitely worth it. Let's show it one more time in turn 1, then you're good to go. So it's this process of pressing the brake hard in a heavy braking zone, of course, and then easing off until the apex. It's usually the middle of a corner. In hairpins, it's quite easy to spot. It's as soon as you hit nearly the inside of the curb, so turn 1 for example. Let's have a look here. So we brake hard at 100. Ease off. Also turn 4 again. Ease off. Braked a bit too late, but same thing applies here. I'm braking a bit too late, but you get what I mean. You can see definitely it is working. We're gaining lap time. And again, too late. Not enough track knowledge at the moment. The rusty Kiefer on rusty Bahrain. And it applies in nearly every single corner on this track. So please guys, go on Bahrain, time trial, and see the delta going green by this technique. And I promise you, this will elevate your driving to the next level. In case you found this video helpful and you enjoyed it, please consider giving it a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends that are also racing, maybe are not aware about how you brake without ABS, because this is exactly what you have to do. Trail braking is literally the key to any kind of braking zone on the F1 games. So master this technique and you will go faster. I will see you in the next video. Take care everyone. Peace.